Welcome, everyone, to the Meaningful Hearts Podcast, where we discuss the everyday questions that make us or break us if we let them. I am your host, Drew. Take my hand and let's walk this journey together. Welcome back, everyone. And today I want to talk about life. Oh, Andrew, you're going to go there again? You're going to talk about life? Life is pretty much what we always talk about. There are different elements in our lives that change us and shape us. And I want to talk about pivotal ones, the point at which life changes, pivotal points that shape us as a person. But when do we realize that what has shaped us is no longer relevant? Right? We make it up to a certain point in our lives, right? We go from childhood to our maybe our teenage years, and from there we go into our young adult lives, and then from there, there's different quadrants, there's different ports in our lives and sectors that we go through. But we look back at the past and we're like, wow, I really didn't know what I was talking about, or wow, I learned some new information, and it shaped me to be more responsible. Well, the past is the past, and that future gives us hope. It gives us evidence that contradicts what we know to be true from the past. And once we get that information, we adjust. That's what you should do. But there are people that don't want to accept this. There are people that don't want to accept that new information contradicts or changes what they know to be true. And it's a very scary transition, especially for older people, especially for the older generation of people that have settled into their lives, maybe in their 60s or 70s or older. And they're like, listen, I lived a long life. I've seen a lot of things. And you're not going to tell me with your little box that blinks, that has lights, a keyboard, and has a whole bunch of funny cat videos on it, you're going to be able to tell me that thing has information on how my life can be better or how life has changed. I was around during the war, or I've seen this or seen that. Yes, you did. You did. To a certain point, that information that you had was very, very, very good. At one point in our lives, we used encyclopedias. I'm sure a lot of you are probably like, what the fuck is an encyclopedia? Well, an encyclopedia was a book that came in volumes, and you bought the whole collection. It was categorized all the way from A to Z, and it had all types of information about the world. The aardvark or Zimbabwe. All of these different categories of animals, places, people, historical events, you name it, was in these books, in these volumes, and they were updated. I don't know exactly how often, but they had information, and that's what we refer to as the most up-to-date information. And it was like, wow, okay, this is great. And I'm sure at one point in time, it was amazing. It was amazing because, wow, I can get information from another country or a place that I've never seen, and it's in my hands. So the value is there, and it was great. We did book reports on it. When we did research papers, we referred to those. But then you fast forward a little bit, and not to say the internet was exactly there yet with that, but we went on to CD-ROM style ways of looking at research and looking at data that would help us. And we used this thing called Encarta. Encarta was awesome. It had more lively feeling pictures and video. It was interactive. It was way better than using an encyclopedia. Amazing. I was blown away. As a kid, I was like, wow, this. I feels like I'm there right now. It feels like I'm actually there. And I get to see these pictures and I'm just blown away. And then when you think things can't get much better than that, well, the internet was birthed, and then we had instant information that was updated all over the world at a moment's notice. It was popped up online. Now, was it very fast? Was it very was it as robust as it is now? No, but it was the start of something that changed everything. And for a lot of people that weren't on the internet or on the cusp of new technology, kind of just accepted what they knew. And when they did that, they just left it there. Like, I don't need that stupid internet thing, or I don't need that stupid new computer thing. I'm good with these books, and that's more than enough for me. I don't need to know anymore. Well, unfortunately, that's not true. It's not true. We have new information out there. We have new information all the time that's happening. So for you to not accept that the world is forever changing and that the things that you thought you knew are no longer valid, well, you need to be accepting of this. If you want to not sound like an asshole or a jackass, you need to. You have to accept these things. Take in information, cycling through it, and see what is actually good information, what is crap, because there is a lot of bad information out there. But in reality, we need to evolve and we need to be better. And the only way to do that is to constantly dig for new and exciting things that will shape us to become better, new strategies on things. People watch TikTok videos and see somebody eat a banana a new way, or use a straw to drink something, or something silly, and they're like, oh my God, this hack, it's changed the way I look at the way I do this one thing. Well, life is like that. There's always innovation, there's always changes, and it's beautiful and it's exciting. But when it comes to shaping us as individuals, when it comes to learning new information that'll make us better people, we're like, no. Nope. I'm going to hold off there. I'm holding off there right now because you're going to tell me that my life is going to be ultimately better. No, it's going against everything I believe. And I feel offended. Well, yeah, you might feel a little scared and maybe you will feel a little offended, but that's you being offended is your ego. It's your ego saying, no, I know everything. In reality, you don't know shit. There's always new information to be had and to change you to be better, but you have to be willing to accept those changes to move forward. So I want to talk about how we internalize them and what that looks like. So I think we internalize them in two different ways. We have good times and then we have like bad times, like two categories where that's where we sit. It's either something bad happened to us or something good happened to us. And these principles will keep us from self-discovery if we just A and B it. There's a lot of gray area. I think there's a lot of gray area. Things happen more on a spectrum. But on both ends of that spectrum, from the very best things or the very bad things, there's a lot of takeaways that we can still learn from. So I say this is something that I came up with. I mean, maybe this might be a pivotal quote or anything, but a primitive man is an ignorant one. He's charmed by good fortune, but he's disappointed by misfortune. Pretty much, hey, things are great. I am just in love with all the good times, and this is where I live on my high horse. But when something bad happens, or bad, like just a sore loser, just so, I don't deserve this. I deserve the best always. The good and bad. So you think of the good, the good. You think of the bad, horrible, negative. But a man of high caliber, a man of substance, feels undeserving of the king's ransom. He feels undeserving of good times. And he welcomes the storm. He welcomes the bad times. He knows nothing of what can grow him. He knows nothing of what cannot grow him. And he's always focused on what can. So he's accepting of the fact that the world is tough, and he's willing to go into that storm, and he's willing to take the information out of it that will grow him and leave behind all the stuff that cannot. That's the key of life. We're going to run through a whole bunch of shit. There's a whole bunch of things that are going to happen to us all the time. But we could sit there and look at everything and say, oh, there's bad stuff and there's good stuff, or, instead of saying, well, where can I learn? I'm just looking to learn, and I'm looking to be better. Can I get something out of this? Yeah, let me sort through this. Oh yeah, there's something here. This is a bad experience, but bam, I learned this. This was a good experience. Yeah, I learned. But like, you're just looking. You're looking for betterment. You're looking to be better all the time. So you don't necessarily see good or bad. It's a sliding scale, but there are things in there that are going to help you. It's literally a spectrum. It's not black or white. We need to equip ourselves with this mindset, or the evolution of the human mind would cease to exist. If we just stopped learning, if everybody adopted the same way of thinking, we would just fall on hard times and just stay there and beat ourselves up. We would just beat ourselves up and nothing would change. But there are people in the worst predicaments, in the worst situations, that thrive and they push through because they never lose the focus that they need to evolve. Evolution comes no matter what. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what happens, evolution happens. It happens through wars, it happens through poverty, it happens through sickness. It happens through all these things. The evolutionary process, there is always somebody looking and taking away, getting the gems that are in there, because there's always gems in there. Life is like that. Life is not supposed to be good times, learn something. Bad times, run away from them. That's not how it works. There's always lessons to be learned. And life is very scary. Life is very, very scary. There's so many things that happen that make us question everything. You might be going on a good run with your life and everything just is falling into place and you're doing so well, and then boom, you hit a fucking brick wall. Everything gets derailed. Everything that you know, everything. COVID, look at that. Everybody was there are people out there doing so many different things, but nobody thought that something like this would happen and derail them from their careers or their families or whatever happened. They never thought in a million years that this would be something they would be faced with. But here it was. And on top of that, there are people that look at the silver lining in it. Listen, there's a lot of terrible things that happened, but there was a lot of people that looked into the silver lining of what happened and said, you know what, if this didn't happen or didn't occur, I would still be on the same path, and I needed to change that path. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to see that in a bad situation, and it gives you a little more perspective on the sliding scale of good or bad. And that's how we have to look at things. That's how we have to look at everything. You were in a bad relationship and you just wanted to stay there. You were just, oh, I love this person. I want to be with this person. This person's, all I know. And I'm sad. And I'd rather be sad in this situation, but instead of moving on from them and just being so sick. But finally you end up getting away. And anyways, the inevitable happens. You break apart. You're miserable. You can't eat. You can't sleep. But then you find yourself starting to overcome it, and you're starting to see the difference between how you were feeling in that state and how you are without, like, moving out of that situation. And you're like, wow, I'm starting to see. Wow, I'm out of the hole, and I'm kind of feeling it a little bit. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better, and I'm glad that I went through this gauntlet, this pain. Because now I'm getting to see the other side of things. And the other side of things are looking really bright for me. Wow. Didn't realize that. You heal, you get better. And then you meet somebody who really rocks your world. Really makes you rethink everything. And you're like, I cannot believe that I could have missed this chance. Could have missed this chance at being better and being happy, and then finding somebody that is way better, and I could be myself, and I could feel free to think and talk, and I don't. It's not hostile, and it's all loving. Well, you have to be willing to step out of your comfort, especially. But a lot of people do this in pain for some reason. We're in pain, but we choose which pain we want to feel. We decide to step out of that and walk away from it. And that takes a lot of courage, and it's hard, but you have to be willing to do that. You have to be willing to go through that and still see the silver lining in it. And that's something that's inevitable. We always have to be willing to change. Pivotal points in our lives. So what are those pivotal points, right? When you learn something new, something paramount, something so big, and we look back and it changes us. There's several major ones in our lives. Are the little ones not as important? No, but they lead up to a bigger one. It's usually like an aha, like an epiphany. It's an aha moment. And when we reach those, we kind of let go of that other information we didn't know. That's how evolution happens. There are scientists that might be on the cusp of changing 150 years of scientific proof. I mean, I think recently they approved the theory of relativity that Einstein came up with a long time ago, and they were actually able to prove its existence in actual scientific experiments or something that happened. I'm not a scientist, so don't shoot me down for this one. But they were able to actually prove it, as opposed to a theory. Now it's been proven. So, like, holy shit, that's amazing. But you have to be willing to change and move and evolve. That's how this world works. And I want you all to evolve and be better human beings. So with that said, I just want to let you know that I love you and I'm rooting for you. Please, please, please take that step, take that chance in your life, and you will be forever grateful that you did. I've never heard a person that has said otherwise. Thank you for listening.